All right, now suppose we want to extract. So let's look at the next thing. We want to extract, how to extract element, from a list, right? So I want to look at how do we extract some element from a list. So now we have my list, right? We have the my list, and we have the named list, right? So how do we extract elements from this list that you have created? So assuming I want to extract, I want to extract the first object of the list. I'm gonna use this square bracket with 1, right? Because basically I have two objects of the list. So I need the first one, I have to use 1, right? So when I run this, it extract the first object for me. If I want a second object, right, I'm gonna copy this, paste, right, second object, right, extract a second object of the list, right? So which sorry, let me run this again. Right, so it gives me the second object of the list, right? So now suppose I can also do this, the first object. An alternative way of doing this is to use the name list, right? So I can use the name list, basically use, because I've actually assigned a name to the object, I can use the name list and use the dollar sign to pick the first object. So this is an alternative, right, to this, right? So when you run this, it gives the same as compared to this, right? So you can run the two together, so it gives you the same, actually it extract the first object, right? And you can do the same for the second. My list, we want to extract the second object of the list, so we can use my list then 2, right? Or basically you want right, and let's say name list, then we use character because the second object is a character, so this is an alternative, right? So let's run this, right, which is that. So if you run the two together, so you have the same actually output. Now the next thing is, maybe you want for the first object, assuming the first object, we want the second element, we want 12. So let's say we want to extract the second, element of the first object of the list. We want to extract the second element of the first object of the list. So we have list, let me use my list first, right? So my list 1, because I want to extract the second element of this, it's going to be a vector, right? This my list, if you look at my list, is a vector, right? So I have to use double square bracket. So this basically means that I want the first object specifically, right? And within the first object, I want to pick the second element. So this, with when you just have this, right, when you run this, it's going to give you only this, right? So with this, we just want the second element, so I'm specifying it with another square bracket 2. So I need a second element of the first object. So once I run this, it gives me 12, right? So we can do the same by using the named list, right? Since I've assigned a name to it, I can just use a dollar sign, right, to pick the numeric, that's the first object, and just use a square bracket 2. That's the index 2 because a vector, right? This is a vector, so I need this, so it's going to give me the same result as this, right? So let's run this. So it gives me the same. You can do the same for the second object, right? You just have to change this to 2 and also change this to character. So this is basically how to extract some element from a list.